The modern world is running on a currency that does not actually exist. We are told from a young age to fit in, to be liked, and to curate a version of our lives that the crowd will applaud. We measure our worth by metrics on a screen: likes, followers, retweets, and the fleeting nods of approval from people we barely even know. But if you look around, this relentless pursuit of validation has created a society of deeply anxious, highly fragile people. They are performing on a stage 24 hours a day, utterly terrified that the audience might stop clapping. They tailor their opinions to avoid conflict. They buy things they do not need to impress people they do not like. They are part of the 99% who are living their lives entirely on the terms of other people. They are prisoners, and the cell is built out of the opinions of strangers. If you want to move into the top 0.01%, you cannot simply try harder to be liked. You must step off the stage entirely. You need a psychological framework that makes you immune to the crowd. You need the philosophy of the Stoics. These aren't just ancient quotes. They are psychological weapons designed to destroy your need for external approval. The first habit is what the Stoics call the dissection of praise. Most people allow compliments to inflate their ego and insults to destroy their day. They treat the words of others as if they are physical truths. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius practiced a technique where he would strip the value away from things people desired. He would look at expensive purple robes and remind himself that it was just sheep's wool dyed with the blood of a shellfish. You must do this with the approval of others. When someone praises you, it is simply air leaving their lungs and vibrating through their vocal cords. When someone insults you online, it is just pixels lighting up on a glass screen. By stripping away the emotional drama, you realize that praise cannot actually make you better, and criticism cannot actually make you worse. You remain an impenetrable fortress while everyone else is riding an emotional roller coaster. The second habit is the relinquishment of the crowd. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus stated that there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Most people spend 90% of their mental energy trying to control how other people perceive them. They meticulously plan their outfits, their social media posts, and their conversations to manufacture a specific image. This is a massive drain on your mental resources. The 0.01% ruthlessly audit what they can control. They realize they can control their own integrity, their own work ethic, and their own thoughts. They cannot control the judgments of a stranger. When you truly internalize this, you stop negotiating with public opinion. If the crowd hates you, it is indifferent. If the crowd loves you, it is indifferent. You become terrifyingly free. The third habit is the practice of intentional alienation. We live in an era where people are terrified of standing out. Comfort is found in the herd, but the Stoics believed in the practice of voluntary hardship. Seneca would wear coarse clothing and eat peasant food to prove to himself that he did not need luxury to survive. You must apply this to your social life. You must practice the hardship of being misunderstood. Intentionally state a truth that is unpopular. Make a life choice that your family disagrees with. Walk into a room and do not try to make everyone like you. By intentionally seeking out social discomfort, you break the chains of people-pleasing. When you realize that you can survive people whispering about you and even thrive while being isolated, you become invincible. You are no longer held hostage by the fear of rejection. The fourth habit is the construction of the inner scorecard. The 99% operate on an external scorecard. They need a boss to tell them they did a good job. They need a metric to validate their existence. This makes them easily manipulated. The elite build an inner citadel. They evaluate their own lives based on a strict internal code of conduct. At the end of the day, you must ask yourself, did I act with honor? Did I work to my highest capacity? Did I speak the truth? If the answer is yes, then the applause of the crowd is entirely unnecessary. When you are the judge, the jury, and the executioner of your own standard, the opinions of the outside world become background noise. The fifth and final habit is the cosmic perspective. The 99% live as if their current social standing is the most important thing in the universe. They lose sleep over an awkward conversation or a perceived slight. They spend their finite lives trying to impress people who will eventually be forgotten by time. The Stoic uses the awareness of death as the ultimate clarifier. When you zoom out and view your life on a cosmic scale, the desperation to be liked looks incredibly foolish. You realize that your presence here has an expiration date. In 100 years, no one will remember your name, your reputation, or how many people approved of you. This isn't meant to be depressing. It is meant to liberate you. It forces you to stop wasting your brief flash of existence performing for ghosts. Integrating these 5 habits is not easy. If it were, the world would be full of sovereign individuals instead of anxious crowds. It requires a brutal level of honesty. It requires a willingness to stop pointing fingers at society and finally accept that you have been handing the remote control of your emotions to complete strangers. It is about taking total, uncompromising responsibility for your own mind. If you choose to commit to this path, if you choose to see the world without the filter of your ego and treat the approval of the crowd like the illusion it is, you will change. You won't just be less anxious, you will be playing a different game entirely. You will develop a stillness that others mistake for arrogance. You will walk through the world unbothered, functioning with a level of clarity that seems like a superpower, while the masses are stuck on a stage, waiting for a round of applause to feel whole. You will understand the ancient secret. You change yourself first, and then the world loses its power to touch you. You become the master of your own internal kingdom. And once you have that, you have already won.